Alright guys, so magandang araw sa inyong lahat at ito may nagtanong kasi sa akin, ang daming nagme-message sa atin dito sa Kasiopao kung ano bang pwede nating i-recommend to buy or not to buy dito nga sa IPO ng MerryMart. So we have decided to perform our own analysis on this one, although kung mapapansin nyo marami na ring mga gurus and mentors na nagbigay ng mga analysis nila. By the way, hindi kami guru, ha? Hindi kami mentor or guru. We're just a bunch of professionals. So basically, examine kung ano yung nandito. Okay? So, topics na i-discuss natin, ano ba yung mga key terms ng IPO na yan, bakit sila mag-IPO. We will also review their historical performance based on the prospectus, no, yung nasa website nila. And then we'll be performing our own financial analysis and valuation. How much really is the intrinsic value of the MerryMart stock relative to its IPO price. And then some qualitative considerations din, kasi hindi naman lahat is on numbers eh. So, minsan mas importante pa yung qualitative considerations. And then lastly, some key takeaway, no? So before ang lahat, no, please subscribe muna kayo dito sa ating Kasiopao PH YouTube channel at i-follow nyo na rin kami sa Facebook kung saan doon tayo nagpo-post ng mga thoughts natin kahit saan regarding finance man yan, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, stocks, trading or investing, di ba? Yan. So subscribe na kayo and follow us on Facebook. Okay. So some key terms of the IPO lang. So it will be 1 peso per share. That will be the offer price. Okay. For around 1.6 billion shares. Okay. And around 70% of that 1.6 billion shares would be offered to institutional investors, institutional offer. Okay. So tayo, mga trading participants and retail traders or investors, we are only playing yung 30% to 20% mapupunta dun sa PSE trading participants, and then itong 10% for the small local investors. So yung mga LSI yung tinatawag, local small investors. So by definition, local small investors daw yung mga below 100,000 yung subscription dito sa ano na to, IPO na to. Okay? Now, before we actually dive deeper into the financials, it's very important for us to understand kung magkano ba yung magiging float, no? So it's basically only 21%, no, to be allocated for new investors. So kontrolado pa rin talaga ng in-JAP management and the board itong 79%, no, around 6 billion in shares basically. All right? So, yan siya. Ganyan yung after the offer, ganyan yung magiging structure. So, 21% lang yung they are floating, no? Pinapatayan nila for 1.6 billion. All right? Okay. So, why the IPO? So, MerryMart is basically trying to expand its operations, no? It's basically expansion yung dating eh. So they are planning to launch MerryMart Grocery, MerryMart Market, and then yung MerryMart Store, okay? So ano ba yung pinagkaiba nito? Okay? So MerryMart Grocery, ito yung full-size supermarket. Yung talagang makikita mong parang Pure Gold, parang Robinson's supermarket, mga ganon. So it's basically catering to lower to middle income consumers and offer competitive prices, sabi na dito. Okay? So now, meron daw silang 6 na large operational format branches which include yung dalawang branches ni Injap sa may bandang Iloilo yata ito. Okay? So yan yung MerryMart Grocery. Now, next is yung MerryMart Market. Alright. So ano naman itong MerryMart Market? So ito naman yung magki-cater sa mga middle to high income consumers. Okay? So ito yung mga makikita mo dyan sa, ito may ini-establish sila sa may Rockwell, yung The Arton Strip ba to? Hindi ko alam, hindi ko pa napuntahan ito. So high-end to, no? And the last one, ito yung pinaka-controversial, no? Yung bagong format nila na wala pang nakakagawa nito guys locally dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, yung 3-in-1 store. Kaya makikita nyo dito, may tatlo dyan, no? grocery, tas ito personal healthcare, and ito representing yung RX, no, pharmaceutical. So it's a small store format, no. Ang mga nasa 150 square meters to 300 square meters yung laki ng mga stores na to. So yung mga mom and pop shops na nakikita natin sa kanto, pwedeng ganon yung mga i-cater nila. So ito yung mas maraming pinoproject sila na gusto nilang mangyari, no, by end of 2030. So merong nag-iisa na MerryMart store at yun yung nasa Ayala Mall sa Manila Bay. Okay? So basically, out of these three, makikita natin siguro dito na the first this first one, MerryMart Grocery, and itong MerryMart Store, ito yung medyo magki-cater talaga on the masses, no? Kasi medyo ipapa-franchise nila ito eh. Okay? Mamaya i-discuss natin yung key terms of the franchise. So basta ito yon. Ito yung reason kung bakit gusto nilang mag-IPO, to establish basically itong tatlong ano to sa buong Pilipinas. Okay? Now, gaano kalaki ba ito? Ito po siya. So, right now, this image on the left, coming from the prospectus ito, makikita nyo dito yung mga open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pito lang. Pito pa lang as of this prospectus date, yung na-open na MerryMart Grocery, MerryMart, meron bang MerryMart Supermarket? Ayun, Injap Supermarket. Yung iba naman, na yung mga naka-blue outline or borderline, ito yung magiging company-owned. So, mas marami yung company-owned kesa sa franchise. Dalawa pa lang yung nag-a-apply for franchise right now. Nasa Capiz and Iloilo, Baluarte ni Injap. Okay? So, iyan pa lang ang status in short. So, all in all, I think that's, ilan ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 pa lang, guys. 19 pa lang as of prospective date. Yung majority pa dyan, especially yung franchise, opening soon pa lang. Okay? Yung nasa right naman, ito yung vision nila. By 2025, they want to have at least 600 branches daw. Okay? Majority of that will be the MerryMart store format kasi mas maliliit ito, no, mga 150 nga to 300 square meters. Ito yung mga mom and pop shops na makikita natin, mga suking tindahan type. Okay? And then yung green nakikita natin dito, MerryMart grocery store or market. Hindi na nilagay dito ng specifically kung ilan yung MerryMart grocery, ilan yung MerryMart market. Basta combine siyang 100 lang. Okay? And then, by 2030, ang gusto nila, 1,000 na MerryMart store nationwide ang meron na sila. Okay? This is basically in total, yung 10-200, yung MerryMart Grocery and MerryMart Market. In total ito, when you say in total, kasama na dito yung mga company-owned nila. Hindi lang to purely franchise. Alright? Okay. Ito ang problema ngayon. When you say franchising, we have to understand ano yung terms ng franchise? Gaano ba kamahal yan, yung franchise na yan? Now, let's go to MerryMart Grocery muna. For MerryMart Grocery, ang nakikitang cost of franchising dito, no, is 36 million to 80 million. Depende kung gaano kalaki yung location. So, kasi nga, hundreds to even thousands of square meters itong laki ng mga ganitong klaseng grocery and market, di ba? Malaki talaga siya. And then, they are going to have a royalty fee revenue of 1% of gross sales nung magpa-franchise sa kanila na yon. And on top of that, they will also be charging an administration fee of 0.25% of gross sales and an advertising fee of 0.5. So in short, i-add mo to 1% plus 20.25 plus 0.50. All in all, that's 1.75% of gross sales every year ang babayaran ng isang franchisee dito sa MerryMart. Okay? And every 5 years, bukod doon, they are required to refurbish or i-renovate yung mga nandoon sa location na yon, and must be approved by MMGC or MerryMart Grocery. Yan. And then they have an option naman daw to purchase yung product, yung mga inventaryo nila dun sa mga existing suppliers nila or through MMGC distribution center. Siyempre kung nagkaroon ng low supply, then papayagan naman siguro na tawag dito as much as possible dun sa existing supplier kung mas mura, pero pwede rin naman daw bumili doon sa kanila sa MMGC. Okay? Now, that's the MerryMart grocery or MerryMart market format. Now, on the other hand, yung MerryMart store, dito ako nalula eh. So, 12 million to 15 million per store. Includes yung fit out, equipment, furnitures, design, everything. And on top of that, guys, a royalty fee of 2% of gross sales. And then administration fee of 0.5% and another 0.5% for the advertising fee. Well, same lang naman, no, yung required 5 years. Pero ang catch dito, itong mga maliliit na MerryMart store na to, yung lang daw supplies ng MMGC, doon lang daw sila pwedeng bumili ng inventaryo. Ayun, dito ako nakakita ng problema kasi sa totoo lang guys, disclosure, lumaki ako na may tindahan kami, may grocery kaming maliit at may karinderya kami. So I know exactly yung kasi namamalengke ako, nag-wholesale kami nun eh. Meron kaming mga so typically yung mga MSMEs no na mga grocery players, mga retailers, may mga suking ano yan, supplier. Ngayon, bukod sa babayaran mo na kung bukod sa babayaran ko na si MerryMart ng 12 to 15 million, sasahati pa siya ng almost 3% every year sa sales ko, required pa akong bumili sa kanya ng inventaryo. Paano kung mas mahal yung inventaryo na mabibili ko sa kanya? So, ano nang kinita ko nun? Diba? So, dito honestly may nakikita akong friction dito. How are they going to turn this around? Kasi, kung ako, suking tindahan ako, no? At kumikita naman ako, why should I change my branding to MerryMart? Para lang mapasabi na MerryMart ako? Para air-conditioned ako? Ganon? If you look at even the provinces, no? Hindi naman ganun eh. Sana, kesa magbayad ako ng 12 to 15 million, hindi na lang. I'll just do my existing store. Okay? So, yun yung nakikita kong challenge dito sa MerryMart store. Yung MerryMart grocery and other format, walang problema yan. I think mostly mga may pera talaga yung kayang mag-ano nito. Okay? Now, saan nila gagamitin yung funds, yung 1.6 billion? So, dito daw nila gagamitin. Okay? So, makikita nyo dito, almost 1.5 billion lang yung in-estimate nila as net proceeds. Kasi nga naman, may mga professional fees silang babayaran sa mga underwriters nila, sa mga consultants nila, sa pag-i-issue ng IPO, mga ganyan. So, neto na to in short. Okay? 1.5, roughly 1.5 billion. Oh, okay. So 1 billion of that will be used for capex, capital expenditures, and working capital for network expansion or store network expansion. And then around 220 million for distribution centers. So ang question ko dito, will actually 220 million enough for distribution centers? Kung ang balak mo is 1,200 stores, okay? I'm not really sure. And then general corporate purposes. So I think this is more on expenditures, OPEX, no, 220 million. So makita mo dito, out of the proceeds, 1 billion lang yung mapupunta sa CAPEX. So sige, sama mo na itong investment in distribution center. So baka may CAPEX involvement ito. So all in all, 1.2 billion yung mapupunta into and then the rest expense lang, okay? Why do we need to identify how much will be the capitalizable and how much will be expensed out? Because that will be a very important input later on pag gumawa tayo ng model, okay? Now, let's review the historical performance. But before that, ito lang yung corporate structure. Just want to let you know that this is the corporate structure. So, the MerryMart Consumer Group or Consumer Corporation is a wholly owned subsidiary of Injap Investments Incorporated and will be the parent company of MMGC, MerryMart Grocery Centers Inc. All right. So alam naman natin si Injap, meron din siyang 35% kay Double Dragon Properties Corporation. So yan. So yung naka-blue, yan yung MerryMart. Alright? Yung consolidated na yan dalawa. Okay? So let's take a look to the historical performance. So I've basically extracted this, audited the financial statements of MerryMart. It was audited by KPMG. So makita natin dito, clean opinion yung binigay ni KPMG. Disclosure, my first when I got my CPA license, my first employer was actually Laya Mananghaya, no, itong predecessor ng RG Manabat and Company. So kilala ko to si Darwin Virosel. Hindi kami nagkakalayo ng CPA license number, honestly. Sir Darwin, okay? Alright, so ito. Now, so this is the income statement for 3-year income statement ng MerryMart. Okay, let's take a look. So makita natin dito from the 2017 to 2019, they've been having a revenue growth of 11%, 20%, and 18%. Okay. Now, for this specific size of an entity, I'm not really sure if this is okay or not. But what is important is there's growth. Okay, there's revenue growth. I think dalawang store pa lang naman ito. Okay, at hindi siya honestly ganun kalaki. It's only 2 billion roughly yung revenue nila. Okay. In terms of gross profit, we know naman that the retail industry is known for having a very, very thin margins, no? Profit margin ma yan or yung talagang net margin. So in this case, they have 4% roughly on the average or 4.5 in terms of gross profit margin, okay? 2019 being the highest at 5.7, okay? And then the net income margin, naglalaro yan sa 1% lang. So ito lang talaga yung very thin. Very thin ang ng retail industry, all right? On their EBITDA, we can see here that the EBITDA keeps on growing naman. Okay, the EBITDA keeps on growing. As the EBITDA keeps on growing, they were able to maintain their current ratio of 1.2 and 1.3. So, is this okay? Well, I would say okay naman. No, maganda sana kung 1.5 eh. Pero 1.3, sige, pagbigyan natin. Okay? Asset to equity ratio, so this is total asset divided by equity. So it basically grew, no, from 2017 to 2019, from 5.8 to 8.4, and that is basically because noong 2019 they made a lot of acquisition of assets, okay, while their equity remained constant, no. Given the margin, ilan lang yung napupunta sa retained earnings nila, but their equity is basically the same. Actually, maliit lang yung equity, nasa 1.25 million lang yung share capital nila. So, maliit lang talaga yung company na to. Debt to equity ratio 1.4 and debt to total assets, yan. Now, on the vertical and horizontal analysis, what is interesting to note here is that they have to take note that their operating expenses has been increasing, no? Based both horizontally and vertically. And that's because in 2019, they already made a lot of operational expenses, purchases, naging active sila relatively 2019 as compared to 2017 and 18. Okay? I guess that's in preparation really for the IPO this 2020. Okay? Now let's go to the balance sheet. Now the balance sheet basically would show us that, as I mentioned earlier, the assets has been increasing, okay, from 229 million to almost 1 billion as of end of 2019. Okay. Later on, when we review the cash flow statement, I will show you why ganyan kalaki yung naging increase. All right. But for now, let's see the horizontal and vertical analysis here. Okay. So there's a big jump, no, into the proportion of their non-current assets to their on the horizontal level, no, horizontal analysis level, and that is because of ano ba itong non-current assets to, security deposits to in regards to their lease arrangements, kasi nga they have been expanding, no, meron silang mga construction in progress. Of course, they don't own mga ano na yon, but they are under lease okay, under lease. And it qualifies for PFRS 16 on the finance lease eh. So mamaya i-discuss natin yun. Medyo complicated siya pero I'll try to simplify. Okay? Non-current assets, yan, basahin nyo na lang. Pero ako, when I do the analysis of the balance sheet, I go to the cash flows eh. Kasi mas makikita mo yung istorya doon, yung galawan. On the ratios, no, on the financial position ratio, ito na-discuss na natin, 1.3 yung current ratio, solvency ratio nila, okay, yan. Ano ba yung magandang dito? Interesting. Ito, interest rate coverage ratio. Medyo malaki. Kasi they only availed of a 150 million loan last 2019 pero malaki yung interest, no, 7.25, and I think because nung mga time na nila ito talaga yung kasagsagan na malaki yung interest rates na ino-offer ng mga bangko. So tinamaan sila noon, so malaking interest rate. Okay? Pero kaya nilang i-cover, in short. Okay? EBITDA to total interest paid, kita mo naman, no? 35 times, basically. 36 times. Now, let's go to the cash flow. Ito interesting para sa akin. Importante sa akin, every time I do analysis of financials, the cash flow statement. Kasi dito ko nakikita kung paper gains ba lang ba yung meron, ano ba yung real cash contributed ng operating, financing, at investing activities nila. Okay? So, let's start with the income before tax. So, you can see here, lumiit from 2019 of almost 58 million to 40 million yung income before income tax nila. And that is because it's highly affected by this depreciation and amortization. So, yung depreciation and amortization nila due to the acquisition of a lot of fixed assets, property and equipment, and then meron din tinatawag na amortization ng right of use of asset, no? And yung intangible asset din, nagkamali dito, PFR 16 sa intangible, yung right of use of asset, no, in regards to leases. Okay, so is it good or bad? Actually, for me, it's good, no, because you have a higher tax shield later on. May kita mo dito, liit ng binayarang tax nila eh, because of this higher tax shield. Impact yan, bukod pa dun sa different tax assets nila, like NOLCO. Now, interest expense. This is precisely due to the 150 million short-term loan and the discounting of the right of use of asset in relation to the PFR 16 requirement. Kasi nire-require ng PFR 16 on leases na kapag long-term yung leases mo, you really have to make a present value computation of the minimum lease payments. And then, yung difference nung future value and present value, you attribute that to interest. So, ganun yung nangyari. So, kaya may interest expense yan. Okay? Yung interest expense on short term, maliit lang eh. Maliit lang talaga. Kasi 150 million lang naman to. Okay? And short term lang siya. Now, another interesting one is inventories. So, positive ito. Ibig sabihin, nag-decrease yung inventories nila. Which basically explained yung malaking gross profit nila na nakita natin, no, 5.7% as compared to 2018's 4.4%. Alright? Then, increase in other current assets, ito naman yung due to the input VAT on CAPEX, yung mga capitalizable purchases nila, especially on property and equipment and intangible assets. Dahil nga nagkaroon sila ng increase. Naturally, magkakaroon ng increase in other current assets. Okay? AP, yung accounts payable nila and other current liabilities, dahil nga nagkaroon ng maraming OPEX, undeniably, mag-i-increase din ng AP mo. So, this is mostly due to cut-off lang naman. So, I assume binayaran nila to pagdating ng first quarter of 2020. Due to related party. So, ito yung due lang naman doon sa parent company, which is good na pinakita nila dito nag-decrease na, which is binayaran. Kasi one thing na I'm not really comfortable later on na kapag nag-invest ako sa isang company at may nakita akong malaki siyang payable sa isang related party, para lang binigyan mo siya ng pera para bayaran yung sarili niya at malinis yung balance sheet niya. Ayoko mangyari yon. So this is really good na meron na silang ginawang clean up ng related party liabilities nila. Okay? So, income tax paid, mas makita mo dito ang baba niya, no? From almost 4 million last 2 years. And ngayon, 272,000 lang. Kasi nga, utilization of net operating loss carryover, at meron silang mga ni-recognize na deferred tax assets like yung retirement benefit nila, may DTA component yon, yung NOLCO nila, may DTA component yon. I think yung iba other non-current assets din nila meron din yon. Okay? Cash flows from, okay, bottom line muna, cash from operating activities. Makikita nyo dito, no, pag in-adjust mo siya ng cash basis, ang laki no naging ng contribution relatively from 2017 to 2018, no? 51 million yung na-generate na cash from operations, okay? So magkano nga yung net income nila? 39. So before tax pala to 40 million almost, pero actually 51 million yung na-generate na cash operations nila for 2019. Okay? Now let's go to investing activities. Ano ba to? So investing activities, marami silang ginawang purchases ng PPE, property and equipment. Ito is related doon sa mga construction in progress ng mga stores nila, di ba? And also, they had some additions to intangible assets. So, mostly these are computer software. Nakasap SAP EC6 sila. ECC. Yun. And then increase in other non-current assets then. So, mostly itong 41.7 million na ito yung mga security deposit on their lease agreements that doesn't qualify for capitalization under PFRS 16, yung may right of use of asset doon. Okay? Now, so that's basically it. So they're in the investing mode. Okay, to long story short, in 2019. Kaya ang laki rin ng kanilang cash burn on investing. Okay? Now, because malaki yung cash burn on investing nila, they need money. Okay? Now I think sakto lang itong naging financing activity nila, no. Nagkaroon ng additional subscription, no, for future stock issuance around 300 million, no. Ito yung galing doon sa holding company in relation to the increase of the authorized capital stock in preparation for the IPO. Okay. So nagkaroon na sila ng pera. Actually, itong ano na to, ito lang yung reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng almost increase in cash and cash equivalents eh. Okay? Yan. So, ganun lang siya. Yung 150 million, I think this is more of a bridging eh. Bridging lang siya before magkaroon ng deposit for future stock. Ganun naman lagi. I mean, per my experience guys, as a CFO, minsan kasi the board, ang tagal mag-approve ng board. So I have to find a way as a CFO to finance my business, especially working capital requirements niya. So they availed of a short-term loan. Okay? So that's the rationale behind this. And then by December, yon na-receive na yung pera, 300 million. But the thing there is, hindi pa na-issuehan ng SEC yung for the tawag dito, yung sa capital increase nila, authorized capital increase. Pero nangyari yon subsequent na, I think January na yata 2020, which is okay. Okay. Kaya babalikan natin Kaya may kita mo dito sa balance sheet, naka non-current liabilities ito, no? And then itong 300 million na ito mapupunta yan dito sa equity. Ganun ang impact niyan. Okay? Ngayon naka-liability pa siya prior to the SEC clearance. Nung nakuha yung SEC clearance ng January, this 300 million goes to the equity. So, dumaki na yung equity niya. Lumiit yung liability. But still, asset is pareho pa rin. Okay? Alright. Okay, so itong 150 million loan, 7.25 yung interest. Na kinalculate ko lang using calculating backward from the FS, I was able to point out na 1 year lang itong loan na ito. So kayang-kaya nila itong bayaran by 2020. Okay, now let's go now to the meat, no? Financial analysis and valuation. Let's now go to our worksheet. Okay, yan. So let's now go to the worksheet. Okay. So what I did here, I basically plotted yung revenue na nasa FS, yung mga naka-blue, yung mga ano yan, hard-coded numbers. So financial modeling rule yan, 'di ba? Pag naka-blue, yun po, hard-coded yan. Well, yung mga naka-black, these are formula-based naman. Okay. So makikita natin dito, may revenue growth nga siya, na-identify natin yun. In terms of the sales mix, 99% is coming from their sale of goods pa rin yung revenue nila. Okay, then I also plotted yung mga expenses, okay? And then I got the vertical analysis of this expenses relative to sales. So yan siya, okay? And then EBITDA, kinalculate ko yung EBITDA. Ang ginawa ko lang dito, binaba ko yung depreciation and amortization below EBITDA line. Kasi importante sa akin makita yung EBITDA eh. Ito yung operating profit kumbaga, no? More or less cash base, okay? Kasi wala kang depreciation dito. And then yung mga ITDA lines dito, interest expense, interest income, yan siya. And then, ito nga, na-validate natin, 1% lang talaga yung net profit margin for almost 3 years. Divided by, ito yung number of common shares issued, 12,500 lang. Ito yung EPS nila for the last 3 years. So, masyadong, kumbaga, malaki to, no? Kasi nga, maliit lang yung issued shares nila dahil maliit lang silang company before. Okay, and then I also tried to, for purposes of financial modeling, we have to identify what are the assumptions and drivers, okay? So in this case, I got this all from the prospectus naman, no? Ilang branches na ba yung owned nila? Ilan yung net selling space? How much is the average sales per store and the average sales per square meter halimbawa, okay? So ginawan ko lang din siya ng breakdown, okay? Now, in order for us to calculate the assumed sales, we can make use of this information here, and then magiging another revenue stream na ni MerryMart going forward, yung franchise fee revenue. So I don't want you to get bored on my financial modeling. So pakita ko lang sa inyo, okay? So I'll be presenting, no, yung best case scenario, kung mahihit talaga yung 1,200 by 2030. Okay, base case, I applied a 50% haircut. And then worst case scenario, sabihin natin 30% lang ng plano nila yung mangyayari. So that's the worst case scenario. Okay, so let's now, and then I have supporting schedules, depreciation and loan amortization. Kinalculate ko lang yan. So bottom line, ito yung naging resulta, guys. So, ang importante dyan, kasi we're trying to look for the intrinsic value of this, So I made a present valuation of using this scenario. So best case, 100%, base case, 50% haircut, and then worst case, 70% haircut. So this is being applied doon sa projection nila kung ilang number of stores kung ma-achieve ba yung 2025 and 2030 plans nila, okay? And this is what ano yung resulta, pakita natin dito. Okay. Alright. So nakita natin dito after doing, kasi I made a projected P&L up to 2030, no? Yung East Transfer estimate. And then I was able to project dito at the bottom yung valuation niya, no? We did the present valuation. We already factored in the capex, no, in the calculation of the free cash flow, and then the valuation basically resulted into the intrinsic value of the MerryMart stock is 1.5 pesos per share. Compare that with the IPO price of 1 pesos, that's basically a margin of safety of 50%. So the valuation scenario that we applied here is this base case scenario of 50%, okay? Now, I'm not really keen in using 100%. So plano lang yan eh. Hindi ko alam kung medyo doubtful ako honestly kung mahihit nila yung 1,200 2030. So I just used the 50% haircut. Now, the thing here is, for example, gawin natin yung worst case scenario. Ano yung mangyayari? Worst case scenario, at 30%. So, naging negative na. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yan, kailangan, well, this is just a forecast anyway, di ba? So, at least 50% of their plan para lang masabi natin na may value, no? Worth buying yung stock nila. Ako, sa tingin ko, I would not go really for the worst case scenario. Best case and base case lang. Kasi I don't think na 30% lang yung magagawa nila in job. Honestly, in Jap yan eh, di ba? So, and gamay niya na yung market. Since 2009, operator na siya ng grocery. So, I still give the benefit of the doubt to him. So, I'll be using the base case of 50% haircut. So, in short, may value doon sa 1 peso na yan. Kung mangyayari yung plano nila talaga. Okay? And assuming other things constant, especially dito sa expenses nila, and yung kung kakagatin talaga sila ng tao when it comes to the franchise revenue nila and all, ganyan, 'di ba? Let's see what will happen. Okay? Now, on the EPS side, may nakita ng projection dito. Ay, actually mali ito eh. Dapat ito siya. Ayusin natin ah. Hindi siya 6 million, dapat ano siya. Ayan. So the EPS no, relatively nag-grow naman siya, but hindi siya ganun ka ka attractive para sa akin. Okay. Let's see kung is it really worth it. Anyway, these are just projections. That's it. That's basically it. Makikita natin the intrinsic value pa. If you want to know how to perform the valuation no, on investing, please enroll on our cashflow.ph.com. Meron kaming stocks investing course doon. It's only for 1,999 pesos, guys. I'm going to teach you the entire finance class, one semester, about financial projection and valuation. Okay? Wala ka nang makikitang ganun dito sa market ngayon. Baliw nga raw ako eh. What ang mura ko daw binibenta. Anyway. Alright. So, that's basically the financial analysis and valuation. Now, of course, hindi lang naman yun yung magiging determinant. We have to also take a look at the qualitative considerations. Okay? Take note, guys. The 3-in-1 store concept has never been tested before. This will be the first time na yung isang suking tindahan mo, meron ng butika, meron pang parang Watsons na personal health selections, and then meron ding of course yung grocery. Saan ka nakakita nun? Wala pa. Kahit ako, guys, na half a decade or more than 5 years ako nasa Hong Kong, wala akong nakitang ganun. Separate pa rin si Mannings, si Watson, separate pa rin si Circle K, si 7-Eleven, si Vango, separate sila. Walang pinag-isa. So this is really something new, okay? And in fact, wala tayong makuhang comparables na pwede nating gamitin. Even sa prospectus, ang ginilagay nila doon is itong tatlo, no? Meron dito mga supermarket, hypermarket, may mga convenience store, and then meron din mga drugstore. At makikita nyo dito, guys, no? Even yung number 1 ngayon, which is na comparable niya, si Pure Gold, they only have 396 outlets na malalaki. Ang gusto niya ni Injap 200 yata kung maalala niyo yung breakdown kanina sa slide. 1,000 yung stores and then 200 yung mga MerryMart grocery and MerryMart market. So pwede bang mangyari yon? Let's see. Okay? Let's see kung kakayanin niya yon. Kasi kung mapapansin, maalala niyo si Pure Gold nung nag-IPO na siya, marami na rin siyang branches nung time na yon. Even kumbaga, na-establish muna siya before talaga siya nag-IPO. Ito si MerryMart, iba ang niya, meron siyang 2, magiging 7, tapos ngayon IPO agad. Okay? Actually, ang question ko dyan is, wala na bang ibang way si Injap para makakuha ng 1.6 billion rather than IPO? Di ba siya pwedeng kumuha ng private investors using private equity? Mga institutional investors, pwedeng hindi kasi he wants to control the company. Pwedeng ganun ang inaano niya. Gusto niya siya lang. So, kung meron man siyang ipapartehan, it will be the public. At napakaliit lang ng binibigay niya sa atin. Only 21%. Alright? But basically, that 21% will fund the entire ramp up of expansion and operations ng MerryMart. So is it justifiable or not? For me, I mean, I work in the fintech space. Normally, fundraising for 20%, okay yan sa amin. Kasi scalable talaga itong fintech, itong tech industry. But in this case, these are brick and mortar businesses. So I'm not really sure. Okay? So yan. Look at 7-Eleven din. 2,786. Pero ilang years namang ginawa ni 7-Eleven yan before niya na-reach ang almost 3,000 outlets, di ba? And then the generics and mercury drug, I don't really know, okay? Impact of COVID-19 in the SME sector, especially for potential franchisees. Kasi right now, SME market yung tina-target niya. Ang SME ngayon, walang pera. dahil nahirapan dahil dito sa lockdown. So, paano siya makakahikayat ngayon? Saan siya kukuha ng mga SME entrepreneurs na willing magbayad sa kanya ng fee at the same time, i-convert yung mga tindahan nila into a MerryMart? What will be the additional benefit for them? Tapos ililimit pa sila into purchasing the inventory on MerryMart market network lang. Diba? Okay, third bullet point, which is for me is very important, me as a tech enthusiast, how technologically driven MerryMart ba? Although sa prospectus nakita ko, they're planning to have an online delivery app, no, develop na nila. But guys, based on my experience, I'm one of the, well, sa pagmamayabang, one of the fintech pioneers ako, honestly speaking, dito sa Southeast Asia, hindi lang sa Pinas. It takes a lot of money to develop that certain app na okay. Okay? Hindi ko alam kung anong siguro may partner siya with existing app players, di ba? Pero ayun, ang question doon, how driven ba ito ng technology? Given na may GCQ, yung mga tao ngayon nag-order na lang online, meron ba siyang distribution network, meron ba siyang mga delivery on his own, yung app ba niya fully integrated into payments, di ba? So yun, dapat mag-apply siya sa mga payment platforms like Paymongo. Very good si Paymongo, no? So mga SME entrepreneurs kayo or mga businesses, try nyo si Paymongo. I just check it out. Ang ganda. Okay, next, Injap management team. So we know naman si Injap, no? 43-year-old, very brilliant young entrepreneur back Mang Inasal days, di ba? Meron siyang ups and downs na sa business. So, I'm not really sure lang kung itong grocery shopping center in one, no? Basically, is something na kaya niyang i-handle. Kasi his success in Mang Inasal may not really translate the same dito sa magiging success niya dito. Kasi kung MerryMart, they established that since 2009. And 2019 na, no? Dadalawa pa lang yung stores nila. 2020 magiging 19 19 na daw. Anong ginawa nila for 10 years? 2009 to 2019. Bakit ngayon lang? Di ba? So, yan. Pero let's give the benefit of the doubt naman sa team ni Injap kasi I look at the roster of the management team. He has with him a very good CFO, no? Si Yulo, okay, yung dating CFO ng PhilWeb and Alphalandia tayo tsaka Atok Bridge. Okay? And lastly, we have to perform a pest analysis, no? Political, environment, social, and technology analysis for the next 10 years. Is this something ba na maa-adapt ni MerryMart, for example? How's the political climate? 2022 elections is coming. Ano yung pwedeng maging impact nito sa kanya? Diba? Also, with the ongoing changes in the law, magiging regulated din siya dahil may pharmaceutical component yung business niya, mga butika. So, heavily regulated yan. No? So, tingnan natin. Alright? So, some key takeaways lang on this. Again, I'm not saying kung dapat kayong bumili or but these are basically just our opinion, no, based on our own analysis. Okay, so it's a relatively small play, very small lang, sipong piso lang issue price per share, piso lang, and then coming from the balance sheet and yung P&L nila kanina, magkano lang, 2 billion lang yung revenue nila, no, consolidated for 2019. Guys, may mga alam akong kumpanya na hindi nag-IPO pero mas malaki pa dun yung revenue nila. Okay? So, for me, this is a very, very small play. Okay? But again, let's see. So, in that sense, I would say this is highly speculative because number 3, it's an unproven business model. So, a lot more speculation. Parang tumataya ka ngayon sa Bitcoin na hindi pa widely adopted yung 3-in-1 store concept, for example. Okay? Yan. And then, but of course, you have to consider, give the credit to Injap, no? It's a Injap SIA company, Mang Inasal, Double Dragon, and others, di ba? So, meron tayong track record na nakikita. And nobody knows Mang Inasal dati before it really went parang not really viral but everywhere basically. And ako, I'm really a fan of Mang Inasal. Diba? Even yung mga foreign investors dati na nakausap ko, pumunta sa Pilipinas, tinrate ko sa Mang Inasal, nagustuhan nila yung inasal. Okay? So that's basically may track record. And then, based on our calculation, no, all scenarios, whether we projected the base case, the best case, and the worst case, it resulted to higher intrinsic value versus the IPO price. So in short, may value, may margin of safety tayong nakikita. So kahit tumaya ka ngayon, assuming lang na maging okay yung implementation ng plano nila, then there's a value in owning a stock. Okay? And then last, I think, is adaptability, no, post-COVID up to next 10 years. That's very, very important. Kasi nakita natin yung impact ngayon, no. I mean, right now, nahirapan tayong kumilos because of the ECQ. Next week may GCQ na. But still, the message is there. We really have to find adaptability ng mga business models natin going forward. Okay? So, personal disclosure, tumaya ako kanina. I subscribe to the IPO of MerryMart, pero it's very, very small lang. Okay? Kasi para sa akin, speculation lang to eh. So, I still give benefit to Injap, no? Especially his team. I still believe in him, in the guy, no? And I think this is something na for how many years as a business person, hindi naman niya papasukin ng isang business na hindi niya inaral yan, okay? And then he's very basically surrounded by people who can really put more value into him, into the business then. All right? So that's why I decided to purchase, okay? Now, if things go sour, no? Kasi minsan ang market is irrational eh. Kaya nga si Warren Buffett ngayon medyo na kinakamot niya na yung ulo niya, no? Kasi hindi niya maintindihan bakit baba na ekonomiya pero yung stock market sa US sobrang taas. So is the market really behaving rationally or not? We don't know kasi pwedeng it's a mix of emotions, no? Pwedeng may greed, alam mo yon. Yun. So ako, I'm a long-term investor kasi that's why I bet on this stock. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you. So yan, disclosure lang. Okay, so thank you so much. No, if you have questions, just let me know. Message lang kayo sa FB page natin. And I'm open for collaborations, partnerships. Let us know lang dito sa ating Kasiopao Facebook page. Alright? Maraming salamat. Ciao!